You had to know this was coming. When I first started doing the videos way back, literally the day this happened, I knew in my gut they were going to try to lay this on those young sailors and young petty officers aboard that ship. And of course, they're going to have them sign non disclosure agreements so they can't defend themselves. They're going to make it to be one of these things where it was just neglect, dereliction of duty. And I've said it so many times in the comments and on my videos, that is never going to stand here. Not unless they can prove it conclusively, and we have already shown in this channel, just based on the simple evidence we have right now, that that cannot possibly be. We have a captain of the cargo ship that lied, provably so, on more than one occasion, and was released after 3 days, and is back home in the Philippines, and they're going to try to throw our Navy sailors under the bus on this. You know, I have not shared this with you, but I lost an uncle many, many years ago in the Navy. He was in Subic Bay and was aboard a helicopter that had been overloaded with ammunition and failed to clear a seawall. And my grandfather, paternal grandfather, his father, never did get a straight answer from the Navy on a lot of his questions on how something like that could have happened at the time. And and before anybody thinks I'm broad brushing the Navy, the U.S. military in general has the ability and a predilection, it seems, for doing this. It's just it's sick. You know, these kids go out and work their butts off and are tired and just getting by, you know, trying to live the American dream, and they're attacked. They're put in a completely untenable situation, and now being made to sign non-disclosure agreements, unable to respond, unable to defend themselves. The U.S. Navy just takes the opportunity to besmirch their character. Well, this channel's not going to let this go. Not now. No way. Now, I know this is CNN, but I'm sure this is going to be picked up by other news organizations as well. You know, if it's not, you know, picked up by any other news organization other than CNN, maybe we'll go down that road. The conniving news network. You know, they were the ones that also released that story about the sailor below decks and the magical cell phone that can work soaked in seawater when the ship has no power, no Wi-Fi, and the father's phone can magically automatically convert Japanese local time to local time in Maryland. But that was another CNN debacle. That's why we let that one go. But this story, you know, basically just says, I haven't scrolled down to cover it. You can read it. I don't want to read it again. Because they've said basically that it's just it was a symphony of errors, comedy of errors, a whole bunch of things that somehow this crew failed to react or failed to notice the cargo ship approaching. It's just silliness in the extreme. You know, there's been a few people that have come to the videos and have made this allegation about, you know, the laziness or dereliction of the U.S. Navy. Let me tell you something about that. A good, healthy self-interest always trumps laziness. I don't care how lazy you are, you would do something to get the boat out of the way of that cargo ship, because you don't want to be in that cold salt water, you know, drowning in the middle of the Sea of Japan or wherever they happen to be, you know, dying a horrible death, perhaps having to deal with sharks. You know, if it's the same laziness that is driving you to not do your job because you don't want to be bothered, you sure as heck don't want to be bothered dealing with a collision either. And all that nonsense. So the idea that somehow laziness or a lack of training or dereliction had to do with, it's just laughable. one sailor, two sailors, perhaps. But the amount of dereliction on the part of not only the sailors, but the bridge crew and the electronics and the crew of the Fitzgerald. No. Sorry, folks. This channel's not buying it. We have enough evidence right now. I can show you to whatever link you want to show how the Navy has started from day one trying to create a narrative that wasn't true. And now they're just going to try to follow up with it, hoping that the U.S. population in general has continued to graze like sheeple and haven't paid attention and are just going to take this at face value like they did the initial story. But until I get more information, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to waste a whole bunch of your time. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.